What's going on, guys? It's Brendan here from BlazeTech, and in today's video we're going to be talking about OBS and how you can set up a 1080p recording setup that runs at 60 FPS. And these are my settings, and depending on your settings also depends on if you can actually play and record at 60 FPS. And the most important thing is, if you're trying to record at 60 FPS, you got to be playing the game at 60 FPS or constantly above it in order to maintain a 60 FPS file and recording. So if you're playing at, let's say, 30 FPS and you can only run it at 30 FPS, then I recommend changing in OBS the settings from 60 to 30. And if you're also playing at 1440p on a monitor or a 4K monitor, what you can actually do is you can downscale it, and I'll show you how. However, keep in mind that I only have a 1080p monitor and I only record at 1080p at 60 FPS or 30 FPS if I'm doing videos like this, where my camera can only do 30 FPS instead of 60. However, with that being said, we will jump straight into the video. And if you like today's video, remember to smash like on the video as well as subscribe to the channel, because it really helps out, and we'll move on. So pretty much what you're going to be coming up with is a screen like this. Now ignore all the many different screens. It's not going to look like that for you. It's just going to be one big OBS screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open my settings, and I'm going to move my OBS onto the other side, and we'll just focus on the settings so you don't get all that distraction in the background. Now what I like to do is, depending what I'm currently doing, but with the general settings I usually use dark mode, which is I can do it while streaming. This is dark mode, which is much easier on the eyes. It's much more aesthetically pleasing. However, I specifically run it on system. You don't have to get the white appearance, just so I can get the backlight from the whiteness of the monitor to brighten up my face, because my light in my room is horrible, and where my window is, it's also horrible for lighting. But other than that, all these other settings besides the theme and the language should be kept on default. And thank you, AJ, for messaging me. And anyway, so on streaming we don't have to worry about this because this is not streaming. However, I will do a video on that if you want me to. But let's go to output and go onto recording. Now up top there is a output mode. Either one of two things will happen. It will be set on advanced, or it will be set on, I believe it's called either simple or standard. Then you will not get all of these options. You'll just get some really basic things, and that's pretty much about it. So for me, make sure I have that turned on advanced in the output mode settings, and with you make sure it's on the advanced settings as well. So type, you can leave on standard. Recording path, I recommend recording it to another hard drive, not an SSD, because hard drives are way better for just like big batch files like recordings or anything like that. So if you can record to another hard drive, like for example I got a 1 terabyte Western Digital Black, costs about $80, and I put all my recordings to there for all my different channels. And as you can see, I have a folder called OBS, BlazeTech, then a folder of today's video called how to set up OBS for recording in 1080p at 60 FPS. So what you want to do is, this is personal preference, but you can generate file names without spaces, totally up to you. It's not going to affect a file. Then recording format, I used to do MKV, but then I ran into issues and it just wasn't working on my Adobe Premiere nor my Sony Vegas, and it would terribly lag. So what I've done today is I've changed the file format from MKV to MP4, which seems to work nicely. I don't get any lag issues or anything like that. Now audio tracks, I leave it on 1 because you can change all your audio and stuff via the little toggles on OBS. And under encoder settings, you either have a NVIDIA NVENC H.264, which is a NVIDIA graphics card specific setting. If you do have this option, if you have a graphics card, I recommend going with this. Otherwise, if not, then I recommend using your setting that uses the Intel or AMD chip that you have. I forgot exactly what it's called, but if you don't have the NVIDIA option, just go with the CPU option and you should be good. But I like the NVIDIA option just because like it's not so taxing on my system. So if you have a NVIDIA graphics card, I highly recommend you go and go to NVIDIA options in your recording tab, as it will greatly reduce the stress on your system. And for rescale output, if this is checked, uncheck it and make sure it's at 1080p. And customer muxer settings, you can just leave totally blank. And if you're recording MP4 files, pretty much it's just saying that you will not be able to do split files, like split your actual voice and split the actual capturing of what's going on. And then what you want to do is go from rate control. I used to do lossless, that didn't work for me. I got lagging issues and spiking issues, so I changed mine to CBR, and I recommend you to change yours to CBR, which stands for constant bit rate, and change it to a 16,000 kilobytes per second, and change your keyframe intervals to 2, and change your preset. This is normally on quality or performance. Just change it to maximum quality, as it will make your videos look more crisp. And change from profile, normally it's on main or baseline, just change it to high. And look ahead, you can leave that turned off. Psycho visual tuning, normally that's turned off, but turn it on. GPU, you can leave at 0, and max B frames, I've experimented with 0, 1 and 2, and 2 seems to pretty much be the sweet spot. So if just go apply if you change any of them. Now audio settings, for me personally, I do sample rate at 48 kilohertz. Then channels, I always keep on stereo, because if you ever on mono, you'll run into an error where it only comes out one side, either the left side or the right side. So if you use stereo, then it's coming through both sides and you'll be good. And for me, I use my Hyper Cloud 2 speakers, and before I got my speakers, I would have it on speakers high definition audio device, but ever since I got my HyperX Cloud 2 wireless headphones, I just changed my desktop audio to speakers HyperX Cloud 2 wireless. And for my mic, which is this mic right here, I use the Line 3 Steinberg, which is a audio interface. Or if you don't have that, then you might want to change it to your microphone for your either Snowball, which is like a USB microphone, or a mic that goes into your headset. And you can just simply select USB mic or Blue Snowball, or the microphone of the HyperCloud 2 wireless, for example. But like I said, for me, I'm using the Line 3 Steinberg UR22 MK2, which is a audio interface which is connected to my Audio Technica AT2022 on a Rode PSA 1 microphone stand, which I love. And other than that, everything else I have kept at default. Now moving on to the next tab of video, I currently can't change anything or show you anything. However, the base canvas of your resolution, that's pretty much what your monitor is displaying. So for me, I have a 1080p monitor, so for me that's 1920 by 1080. Or if you have a 1440p monitor, I believe it's 2160 by 1440, so that's what it would be here. And I think 4K is like 6,000 times 4,400 something, I forget exactly. So change your base canvas to what your monitor is. If you want to downscale your resolution from either 4K or 2K, also known as 1440p, then you'll change the output scaled resolution down to 1080p if you just want to record in 1080p footage. However, if you want to record in 1440p or 4K, then downscale it in either your Adobe Premiere or your Sony Vegas, then you can do that as well. But it's totally up to you. And downscale filter, I recommend keeping this on Lan Kazos Sharpen Scaling 36 samples. I've tried the 16 samples, and I've tried Linear, which is I think no samples or it's blurry. None of them look good. Just stick with 36 samples. And for this video I am doing 30 FPS because my camera's 30 FPS, so it just matches more easily for me. But if you click on this and you see a 60 FPS available, then you can just go and click on that and you'll be able to record your videos on 60 FPS, providing that you can play your game at 60 FPS and your camera has 60 FPS on it. And if you want to, you can go buy a 60 FPS Logitech camera. Those are available, however I don't have one, so I just do 30 FPS videos, and mainly if I'm using my Logitech webcam. So process priority, you should actually keep this on above normal. Normally by default it's on normal, for some reason it changed for me. And renderer, you want to set it to direct 3D 11, color format MV12, color space 709, and color range, normally it's on partial, but you should change it to full. And after that's all done, leave recording, stream delay, automatically reconnect, network sources, etc. Leave everything on default, just change the video section up here. And if your process priority is on normal, change it to above normal or even high. So once you've done that, just say apply and you are pretty much good to go. So I hope this video helped you, and if you guys got any questions or you're running into anything, then feel free to either comment them below or just ask me directly. And just a quick recap of the very important things. So under output, make sure output mode is advanced. Go into your recording tab and change to CBR 1600 kilobytes. Change to max quality, profile high, max keyframes 2. If you're playing at 1440p or higher, you can have it at 1440p or 4K. Just remember to downscale to 1080. Keep sharpening scaling to 36 FPS and change your frames to 60 FPS. And advanced, keep it on high process priority. And video changer to color format MV12, color space 709, and color range on full. But other than that, I hope this video helped out you guys, and it would mean a lot to me if you smash like on this video. And remember, if you've got any questions or anything like that, remember to comment them below, as well as subscribe to this channel. And other than that, this is BlazeTech. I'm out. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.